Hi everybody, let's have a look at creating your team. Okay, it's very simple. There's just some workflow settings that I want to go through with you. As you add users to the system, you would simply click on the team tab at the top there, and here you would see a list of all of your users, and you can see there's myself, and I'm the owner of the account. My status is on the right hand side over here. So very simple. I'm just going to click on add a user. And the first thing you'll notice is you've got 4 options in terms of level of authority that you can give to your users. A typist, they are limited to being able to access and update inspections in the processing stage. Then you've got your inspector or your agent, and there's various workflow settings that we'll go through in a second around your agent or your inspector. Then you have a manager who has access to all of the properties, the inspections, the users, and the clients. And then finally, you've got your admin user over here, or your admin manager, and they would have the same access as the manager, but they would have access as well to the settings, for example, templates and report settings as well. The owner of the account would be the one who would have access to the billing page as well. Okay, very simple. To add a user, all you're going to do is type in a name, Alex Smith. You would need to type in an email address. Okay, and then simply choose what level of authority or what their function is within the business. You can fill in their address details here. That's kind of useful when you are scheduling jobs and they are working, or their starting point is at home. The system can recommend the closest inspector to the job. And if they're starting from home, it would pick up their home address here. They can add their profile picture, their contract status, etc. Okay, so let's pretend Alex is an inspector or a rental agent. So I'm going to click on that. We want them to be able to log in to the system, and so we're going to enable logins. We want them to receive emails, email notifications, so we're going to switch that on. In other words, when an inspection has been assigned to them, when it's been completed, etc. We also want them to be able to edit their own availability. So, for example, if they're going on holiday, they can go into the system and they can block out the week that they're on holiday. And as a manager assigning jobs to them, we now know that they're away on holiday. Teams we'll cover a little bit later. That's an enterprise feature. Some of the features you'll see here are only available on our enterprise package. Team is one of them, although we can add it to standard packages as well. And this is if you've got people that work on different locations, or you've got offices in various areas, or you want to group a team together by the different inspection types, etc. So we'll cover that in a little bit more detail a little bit later. Okay, so here are your workflow settings. Accept inspection. So that's very simple. As a manager assigning inspection to an agent, I want them to accept it so that I know they're going to do it. So I switch that on. Create inspections. This is if you want your agent or your inspector to be able to actually create their own inspections, or do you want them to only be able to perform that which is assigned to them? So I don't want them to create inspections. The manager needs to create it and assign it to them. Submit for review. As I mentioned before, that is a quality control step. I want all my inspections to be reviewed by a manager before they are completed and sent off to the clients or to the tenants or the landlord. So I'm going to switch that on. Do you want your inspectors or your agents to be able to manage their own inspections? In other words, complete and close, reopen, etc. So we want them to be able to do that. Review their own transcriptions. Again, that is if you are using our transcription service to type up reports from your audio files that you capture in the app, and we'll switch that one on. If you want them to be able to exchange messages, we've got a messaging system. So any messages with clients, I want that to come from a manager, not from my inspector or my agent, so I'm going to leave that off. And any particular notes regarding this particular user, I can add in there. And then finally, send login details. That is ticked by default. So as soon as I click create user over here, they will receive an email and it's going to give them their login details. They can then create a password, log in, and use the system. And as you can see here, we've ticked login enabled, so they'd be able to log into the property inspect system like this, as well as use those same details to log into the app. I think that's about it for adding your team. The workflow settings on your managers is obviously a lot less, as you can see over here, and those should be relatively self-explanatory. So that's it in terms of adding your team members.